it's interesting to achieve this thing that maybe you worked towards for a decade, for the better part of a decade, and be like, well, that wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I look around, I'm like, it's my cat over there, and what do I do now? You know what I'm saying? It's not like the Grammy changes things. People look at you different. People are like, oh, you're a Grammy-winning producer, or I'm a gold producer too. It's like I have the accolades and shit, but like, I get paid for getting a gold record. I have to pay for it to get it. I didn't get paid for the Grammy. I didn't even get paid for that song. I didn't get anything for that song. But I got a Grammy now. That's cool.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
What's the word, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio. I'm your host, Matt, and today, we got a very special guest in here. It's been a minute since I've been trying to connect with you, but I'm glad to finally have you here, bro. You're a former member of the Civic Orchestra of Chicago.
Fuck, how you know that?
Co-owner of Top Note Studios in North Hollywood. Member of Chicago's own Pivot Gang. And you're a Grammy Award-winning producer.
Yeah.
Man, introduce yourself, bro.
You already did. I don't have to say anything else.
Shit, let them know your name real quick.
My name's daedaePIVOT. I did all that stuff. Is that on my website, the Civic Orchestra stuff? That must be on my website. That's how you know that. I'm like, how the fuck did you even just know that, right?
I think that's on your website, but also I watched an interview where you said it.
I said that? What interview?
You were talking about that in like a Vocalo interview.
Oh, yeah.
Where Fresh calls you out and he's like, ask him what he was doing before
he
met us.
No, I went to Northwestern.
Yeah, how the fuck?
I went to percussion school.
How the fuck, like, you're a classically trained musician.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you end up making the transition from that to hip hop?
You know, I didn't even listen to hip hop. A lot of people don't know this. I didn't listen to hip hop really when I was a kid. I listened to like alt rock and classic rock and stuff. I didn't listen to hip hop like at all. I didn't really listen to rap. And then a friend of mine, a percussionist I knew at Northwestern, was like, dude, rap is like rhythms and you love rhythms. Like, what are you doing? And I started listening to rap. And a friend of mine was a producer that went to Northwestern. He's like, his name's Corey Grimberg. His name's Let Mode now, a producer. He's worked on a bunch of Pivot Gang stuff with me, a bunch of Saba stuff, a bunch of Kehlani stuff. He's a really dope producer. He like taught me everything. This was in like 2010.
So that's how you made the Kehlani connection?
No, like then we moved into the city. I was, I don't do it anymore, so I can say this. I was selling a lot of weed at the time. You know what I'm saying? I ended up meeting a lot of people through that, I think. And then I became friends with everyone in Pivot Gang. I started spending time with them all the time. John Doe is Saba's cousin. Do you know who John Doe is? Or John Doe? She's really good friends with Kehlani. And they were in the studio one day and she just FaceTimed me and was like, Kehlani's beats suck. Send us, Dae Dae, save us, give us beats. And I was like, all right. And then that just kind of happened like that. It was just like a regular
And then you end up
thing.
with a gold record.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the same project that Nights Like This is on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that song was getting some fucking eyes for real.
Yeah. I was working with a lot of labels at that time. After that, it was cool. It was not cool. It was kind of cool, I guess. These things are not what people think that they are.
Why do you say that?
Because I think that you go into like the music business thinking that you want something, and then you realize that what you want isn't what you thought it was. And I think especially like moving to LA and like really getting to know what the music business is, you start to be like, oh, this is just like this is like high school. This is like a popularity contest. This is not about being, for the most part, it's like 10, 15, 20% being dope. And then 80% being like cool and being like at all the parties and being, I don't know, something that that was never really me. I was always the kid that wore other stuff than everyone else. I acted different than everyone else. I've always been like bro, I wear this every day. I'm like Steve Jobs. I wear a black t-shirt and black sweatpants every day. I have like 6 pairs of them and I wear them over and over. I mean, I don't wear dirty ones, but I wear them. You know what I'm
Facts. No, I wear cargos every day. I used to
I wear
my
the same
hoodie
shit
every day.
It's like, I've never been someone who's been very into like following pop culture and stuff necessarily. I'm kind of like, always prided myself in being like different than everyone else, I feel like. Especially when I was a kid though. I was like a wild kid. I used to do dumb shit. like jackass shit. I used to do stupid shit. I used to hurt myself. I used to do like stupid shit.
You used to jump off roofs
I
and
used to
shit?
jump off shit. Yeah, I was just like an idiot. But I say that to say, it just, I don't know, the music business is weird, dude. And now it's like 2025, it's so big and it's so like everyone is trying to do this shit. The amount of shit that's uploaded to Spotify every day is like, bro, it's like fucking tens of thousands of songs like every day. It's like insane. You make minimum wage off of, if you're an artist that has like 560,000 monthly listeners, it's like minimum wage. It's like really not. There's so many reasons why this isn't what people think it is. I'm not trying to be negative. It's just a very like objective, logical way to look at it. It's just not. I think a lot of people, when they come to me and they're like, what do I do, Dae Dae? Because I teach a lot of lessons and stuff. I'll be like, not this.
Choose something else.
Yeah.
Choose something else.
Sometimes. I mean, it's cool. It's dope to, the other side of it is it's dope to have like people look up to me and know what my work it was, the shit I done, and know what I done and know who I am and shit. Like, it's cool. I got a lot of respect from people, and that's forever going to be awesome. And that's something that I always feel, especially when I come back to Chicago. People fuck with me, and that's cool. But like, cool don't pay my bills, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it comes back to sometimes.
But what was it you thought that you wanted out of the music industry initially?
I think I thought that I wanted all the. I think I maybe put like more weight on like having that respect and having that, like what I was just talking about, like having people fuck with me and people know who I am and stuff like that. And then maybe as I got older, because I'm in my mid-30s now, as I got older, I kind of realized that shit is cool, but the feeling of it only really like lasts for a certain. It's not really real, and this is something that it is real. And at first, it's a lot of validation, and it's really cool. But at the end of the day, like, you make yourself happy in life and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in control of anything that you feel and anything that you grow with and anything that you learn a lot of the time, I think. And like, putting that on anyone outside of you is like not really the best way to move through life, I think. And maybe as I was in my 20s, I realized that, and then got into my 30s and was like, okay, like, what do I really want? You know what I'm saying? Because the music business didn't necessarily bring me like happiness and like healthiness. It kind of brought me the opposite. Like, I spent a decade like working all the time, every day, saying yes to like everything. And then I looked back and I hadn't learned how to be like a good partner. I hadn't learned how to be a good human. I hadn't learned how to take care of myself, dude. I was like eating bags of chips every day and shit, not fucking, you know what I'm saying? I'll go on tour in my 20s and shit. Like, I just never, not never. It's an over exaggeration. I'm an adult. I know how to take care of myself in a lot of ways, but in some ways it got out of hand, dude. I put a lot of time into being successful and then looked back and was like, I'm fucking dying. I'm not even joking. I was like dying this year, dude. I just told you I moved. I moved because my girlfriend broke up with me. We lived together and shit. I had to live in LA, so I left. And at the time, I was like 200 pounds, dude.
Damn. You don't look nowhere close to that.
It's because I've been working out for fucking. I look good now.
You look good, bro.
I've been working out for 5. You know what I'm saying? I was drunk for a couple months, but I've been working out for like 5 months. I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking. I couldn't smoke. Bro, I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is like pain anywhere in your body. Like, my nose is closed up. I have to wear like nose strips. I need to get surgery. Like,
oh, is that why you had the nose strip in the?
Yeah, I wore it for like a year. I just wore it all the time because I couldn't breathe. And doctors told me not to do that. I was like, I can't breathe. And I don't have the money to get surgery right now, so I'm gonna just do this. Bro, my leg was going numb. Like, I had tingles down my leg. I was in physical therapy for my back and my hands and my fingers and my wrists for 6 months. Like, my whole body was falling apart. And I didn't know what to do about it. I think I had kind of like given up on life in a lot of ways. This shit is a lot.
Do you think that that had created a resent for you when it came to thinking about music and the industry?
Yeah, maybe it was like linked to it a little. Because I had, a lot happened. You were talking about 2021. Like, in 2021, a member of Pivot Gang died. And in 2017, that also happened. So it's happened twice. And that was really hard for us and everyone in their own ways. But for me, after 2021, because I can only speak about my own personal experience. After that happened, like, I don't know, dude. I just like fell apart over the next like 4 years, mentally and like physically. And I met this girl that was great, like right when this happened. My friend had just been killed. Like that was not. I'm laughing because it's that stupid. Like that was not the time, dude. And I was kind of doing wild shit, hooking up with different people, and she was one of those people. And then we kept doing that for a while.
And then somehow down the line, you end up in a relationship.
I mean, I really fucked with her. I still do. She just don't fuck with me. Now. And that's really hard for me to accept. And it's been a hard year for me. And I've had a lot of like really low downs this year. A lot of good ups too. You know what I'm saying? I look good. That's cool. I've realized that my body was capable of a lot more than I thought it was. And I got out of that giving up and feeling like I was going to die and pushed myself through a lot of the pains I was in. And I take fish oil every day. I take protein. I take creatine. I take vitamins every day. I walk. I run. I fucking work out an hour a day. I lift fucking heavy shit, like weights and shit. Like I'm healthy now. But I was so unhealthy that I thought I was like dying, dude. I was like, I had like given up. I had like really like, and that I couldn't be there for myself, let alone be there for like another person. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really, I don't know if that's the right thing. Surprised that she left, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
In what ways do you feel like you had failed that though? When I think back to my previous relationship, you know, we talk about this industry thing, right? And we talk about this chase for success and grinding every single day. And you feel like if I don't do this and if I give this up for somebody else, then I'm not going to be happy with myself, right? At least that's how I felt.
I think she was very encouraging of it. She thought I was better than I thought I was. But like moving to LA especially is like, it's a place where you feel like this should never stop here. You really feel like this should never stop. Like anytime you're not working, you're like, I'm fucking up. Like I should be working all the time because you can see everyone else like succeeding and figuring shit out. So I feel like once I got there, I just never stopped. And then it makes you be like I don't even, like I was not a good part. I wasn't really around. I wasn't really a great partner. She was working all the time. I'm working all the time. Like we live together. But we don't really spend any time together. Like I wasn't present because I went through a lot of like mental shit where I just couldn't. It's weird, dude. It's weird. It's weird to look back on this time because I don't know. I mean, I do know what happened now. I've been in therapy twice a week. I've been working through this shit, dude. My friend got killed, and then I felt like I didn't work through any of that. And now it's been 4 years, and I look back and I see why I shouldn't have been dating someone. But during those 4 years, I didn't know what to do. And it's like I was blind to shit that like now I'm just like, what the fuck was that? Like, why did I do that, dude? And I feel mad whack because I really cared about this person. I really love this person, and she thinks I didn't care about her, I think. I wasn't like abusive at all. I'm not like a bad person, but I was a broken person. And I didn't maybe accept the extent of it. I think I did, but I didn't like, it was like I was so broken that I couldn't even understand it. I didn't know what to do. She ended up taking care of me and shit. And that's like, come on, bro. Like I'm in my mid-30s. I don't know what the fuck this girl taking care of me for. Like that's not what should be happening. We should be like living life and doing shit together. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what was happening.
Sometimes subconsciously we do it, right? We end up in these positions where that's not what my intention was, but this is how it ended up happening, right? And especially after breakups, especially after the end of relationships, you reflect on all the things that you did wrong and you could have done better. And you're like, fuck, like, had I done this differently, would the outcome have been different?
I don't think I could have. I don't think I was okay. I don't think that if she hadn't left my life, I don't think I would have been able to, like I wanted to go to therapy together. I wanted to do all these things here, but I don't think I would have been able to do it. Like I think I needed to focus on myself, like only for myself. It couldn't be, like I was going to physical therapy for her. I was trying to get better physically so that I could like be a better partner and shit. That wasn't really for me. It was like I had kind of given up. I was like, this is how I'm gonna be for the rest of my life. My shit broken. I don't know. This sucks. I'm in pain all day, every day. I'm going crazy in my head too. Like, I don't know. This is what it is. I'm overwhelmed and I don't know what the fuck to do about it. And then she left and I was a drunk for a while. And then I stopped doing that, started going to the gym and started doing all this other shit and realized that I was capable of like way more than I was like, our bodies are really, we could just fix this shit at any time. It just takes like a mindset shift, I guess, kind of.
The minute that you decide, okay, I need something different in my life and actually mean that and you move with intention, you're going to be able to change the things that are going on in your life. When you decided to make that switch, you kind of said that originally it was for her.
When I was in the relationship, I think it was, I was trying to help, but she would talk to me about how she didn't want to take care of me and shit. And I'll be like, stop. And she'd be like, I'm not going to stop because you don't take care of yourself.
So when did it become about you?
Now, since she left. And it's like, it feels like I lost a whole branch. Like if I'm a tree, it feels like I lost like a huge branch and I was able to like focus on myself. I'm not trying to blame it on her. Like, I don't feel like that's her fault. It was just a complicated relationship that started at a complicated time and I was in a complicated place.
Do you think that the second time it hit even harder, it made you even more numb to it? Because, you know, as you said, you know, rest in peace to both Walt and Squeak. First time, then a second time. It's not normal shit that happens. So do you feel like at that point it had pushed you even further or it just made you a little more numb to life?
It felt like something broke inside me. I used to say it felt like there was a switch inside my brain and it just got turned off. And I think I spent the last 6 months realizing what all those things were. Because that shit was fucking 4 years ago, dude. That was August 2021. And over the last 4 years, like the fact that I was talking to Saba about this the other day, the fact that anyone in Pivot Gang is still doing this is an accomplishment in itself. We might not have put music out in a while, but the fact that we're even still fucking making music and alive and living life and doing things is a huge accomplishment because that shit was like, I don't know. I don't like to like say things that diminish other people's experiences or something. Like everyone goes through shit. You know what I'm saying? But that was like heartbreaking. It was like mind breaking. That shit like did break me and I think all of us in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Bro, we made an album about his cousin who died and then a couple years later it happened again. Like, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's like, it's overwhelmingly like overwhelming. It's a lot, dude. And I guess maybe I thought that time does heal things, but does time really heal things though? Because really what you're doing is distancing yourself from the thing. So the longer you distance yourself from this thing, the easier it is to not care about that thing. But you didn't actually deal with it. So then if you go, and I've been going to therapy a lot, if you really talk about these things, and I don't know if you notice, I'm a very observant person. I start talking about these things, I start going like this. I start going like this. Physically in my body, it shows that I am uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? You can observe this in other people, and I'll see this. I notice these type of things sometimes, but I notice it in myself, and to even still have those type of things is like you still got shit to work through. You know what I'm saying? Physically, your body knows you do. You know what I'm saying? And my body falling apart for 4 years, and my brain. I have OCD. I have ADHD. I have like a lot of diagnosed. I have Tourette's. I have a lot of diagnosed things. I'm on the spectrum and shit. Like I'm a very different, what's it called, neurodivergent person. And all those things got very exacerbated over those 4 years too. I started feeling like I was trapped in my own brain sometimes because I couldn't control the obsessive thoughts I would have and the tics I would have and like everything was just so heightened from how fucking mentally and physically everything was piling up. And I don't know, dude. Like I think that time heals things in some ways. In a lot of ways it does, but we got to be honest with ourselves about like the work we have to put in. And I think a lot of people detach and like run from shit and say that after a while it's going to get better. But I don't want to do that anymore. Like I'm in my mid-30s, like you start to realize like time is precious the older you get. I've lived 36 years. That's a lot of years, but that's also like that's about how many years I probably have left. I'm like halfway there. So like you start to choose as you get older. I think you start to choose like, how old are you?
25.
Yeah, as you get older, you start to choose your time more wisely, I think. And maybe it's a time period thing too, because I think that 25 now is different than 25 11 years ago. Like, I lived across the street when I was 25. Like, I was doing this conversation was not what I was on. Neither of my friends had died yet. It was like a very different time. But I think that I'm repeating myself, which is part of my OCD and shit. But I think that this is a thing that I've been thinking about a lot. I know you sent me that thing, and this is something that I've been thinking about a lot recently. Like, time being something that we take for granted, and sometimes you look back and you're like, damn, like, I was with that person for 3.5 years, and my friend died right beforehand, and I never even went to therapy. I never even dealt with that shit. I'll talk about that, and I'll still cry about it. Like, I didn't even go to therapy and talk through the fact that my friend got fucking murdered.
Was it not a thought at the time?
It's easy to like let life pass you by, kind of.
Do you think that you were waiting for something to change? Like, you just thought magically it would?
No, I think that we both tried really hard, but I think with where I was at, I was only capable of trying it up to a certain level.
Well, not even in the relationship, but you talk about that you finally decided it was time to start using your time more wisely. It was finally time to fix the things that you hadn't fixed before. But why didn't you do that within those 3.5 years?
Since my friends started dying, and since I don't know, moved to LA, or even just since I was a big part of the music industry, things just became my capacity for like working on myself mentally, working on myself physically, working on my healthy habits, lack of healthy habits, just became really low because everything was constant. Like, I have this stack of 26 things I have that I'm behind on. I'm supposed to send this person this. I'm supposed to send Kehlani beats. I'm supposed to send John Doe some stuff. I got to work on this mix for Saba. I got to do, like, it's a million things. And then after that, I have like my health and my life and my partner and my family and my friends. Like, that shit is, it's like two different things. And in order to I look at people that make their life work well with this and have families and shit. I'm like, bro, how do you do that? And now I think I'm getting to a place where I'm figuring out the balance a little, and maybe part of figuring that out is realizing that it's a choice, like to choose the people or choose the happiness or choose life or choose healthiness and health and shit over constantly working and trying to reach this achievement. And I feel like this year I got a Grammy this year.
You got a fucking Grammy.
And I feel like I realized that, like, bro, I got credit for that Grammy the day my girlfriend broke up with me. And this was someone that I thought I was building a life with. I'd never lived with someone before. We lived together. I'd never done that. So it was like very serious for me. But I don't think I treated it like it was, because I was fucked up. And I hate to even blame it on that. Like, I just didn't. I didn't do it. And winning that Grammy on a day where my life partner, like, told me they didn't want to be with me anymore was crazy, dude. It's interesting to achieve this thing that maybe you worked towards for a decade, for the better part of a decade, and be like, well, that wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I look around, I'm like, it's my cat over there, and what do I do now? You know what I'm saying? It's not like the Grammy changes things. People look at you different. People are like, oh, you're a Grammy winning producer, or I'm a gold producer too. It's like I have the accolades and shit, but like, I didn't get paid for getting a gold record. I have to pay for it to get it. I didn't get paid for the Grammy. I didn't get paid for that song. I didn't get anything for that song. But I got a Grammy now. That's cool. And I can get myself endorsed with that. That's what it is. It's like what Kanye said, where he used to not pay people, and he'd be like, you got this down now, though. Like, you worked with me, so you can go make a career off of this, which is true. But it's totally true, actually. I got a Grammy now, and I could probably get myself in a lot of doors. I just happened to leave LA after 5 years of working in LA, the exact time that I finally have a reason to be in LA. Which is, I mean, I worked with Kehlani, I worked with, you know what I'm saying? I have a bunch of big songs, I've done a lot of Saba shit. Like, being in LA the whole time made sense, but I was working towards a higher thing. And I think I got to that higher thing and immediately left, which is ironic.
What is it about your life that you think was going to change once you finally achieved that, though?
I don't know if I had really thought about that since I had started this journey of like trying to be a successful producer or whatever. I don't think I really thought about like what the goals were anymore, because I got to a point where I had kind of done a lot of the goals earlier on ish. Kind of. I mean, I started being a producer in like 2010, 2011, 2012, and then you know what I'm saying? You suck at it at first. I got better at it over the years, and then I met Saba and Walt. I mean, I met Pivot Gang. I met all of them in like 2013, I think, and my best friend in Pivot Gang was Walt, his cousin. And he was at my house across the street every day. And I think within that period of time from 2013 to like 2018, I was touring with Saba. I was like making albums and shit. And everything kind of turned into what I wanted it to be like right then. So then to continue after that, it's kind of like, what do I do now? You know what I'm saying? Care For Me came out. Everyone was like super. To Care For Me was like it's like this album that everyone looks at us like, you guys did that. I'm like, what do you do after that? You know what I'm saying?
You know, I've talked to a lot of different people who have finally achieved that peak of the mountain, right? So to speak.
Yeah, it's not to say Care For Me was that, but it was definitely like, compared to everything else, it was pretty big peak.
I'm speaking more so relative of the Grammy, right? So you get to the Grammy, and a lot of people who I've asked, like, what was your mindset? They're like, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. You know, you start to look at all the things in your life that you don't have and everything that you gave up to get to that point.
Yeah, I gave up relationships. I gave up caring about myself and in turn others, I think. Not fully, but like I wasn't a great partner.
I talk about this a lot more recently after I was able to go to Puerto Rico. I was able to do an interview out there.
Who was that with?
This guy named Bebo Dumont. So he's actually signed to like Bad Bunny's same label as Bad Bunny, right? So I'm finally able to do that after 4.5 years
of doing it. Yeah. That's like the thing. That's the Grammy.
And as I'm sitting on the fucking beach looking at the fucking beautiful view of Puerto Rico, right? You realize, but there's nobody here.
Well, you also chose a thing but so did I. It's the same thing. I make all these beats and all these people get, you know how many people watch like probably a lot of people. It's the same type of thing.
Yeah, millions of views on the clip, right? But
you don't know any of those people.
I don't know any of those people.
You don't see them in person. You don't really get to hear their feedback.
Nope.
You don't get to hear them talk to you what's the word I'm looking for? Personably or personally?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's weird. You get this thing and you're like, for me, it's like, oh my, Care For Me. Millions of best Spotify album in the fucking like all these things. And people DMing me once a week, like, you saved my life. Like, I never met not any of these people. I've met a lot of people on tour and stuff, but it's like you're on the beach and there's nobody there.
And it's like, but nobody was there for me, right? Because it's amazing to be able to do all these things. And I always tell people, I'm like, I don't want to sound ungrateful, especially now more recently, because people will be like, but you got 30,000 followers. You got 100,000 followers. Like, you're doing all these amazing things. Like, your shit is pretty big compared to when I first met you. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, but that was 5 years of me. Like, I broke up with this girl because she hated the fact that I focused too much on my work. I didn't go to this party or I didn't go to this celebration with my family because I said, oh no, I got to focus on this work. And it was all for likes and views. It was all for likes and views until one day you're on that beach by yourself. You're at that mountaintop by yourself and you're like, oh, but who's here to celebrate this win with me? So that's why, when you talk about that Grammy, I know exactly what you're talking about, where it's like, it wasn't what I thought it would be. And that's kind of like where that perspective shifts. And it's crazy for you that happened on the same day as you go through this life-changing situation.
The person I thought I was going to be with left. Same day. That's really coincidental.
What changes do you think you can make now? Or what do you think you would do differently now?
I've made a lot of the changes now. It's interesting, like, people get out of relationships or out of periods of time in their life that weren't I don't know. It's not always a relationship, but some people change, some people don't. I change everything. I like go to therapy. I go inward. I figure out like, what the fuck did I just do? The fuck did I do wrong? How did I hurt someone that I cared that much about? Like, how did I do that? And I find all the intricacies of the little things about myself that I'm like not fucking with, and that I'm like, that didn't work. That didn't work. That led me to that. And then, you know what I'm saying? I start working on all of them. Every time I get to have a relationship, I become a way better version of myself. Yeah, I think a lot of these things are mindset changes too that I will do differently in the future because I've already changed them. It's like choosing, that's what I'm saying, like choosing happiness over work. Because like, I've been reading like books about this shit and stuff. There's one that, forget the wording, but it's like, write down 10 things that are the 10 things that you want out of life. Like, what do you want? Do you want to be successful? Or do you want to be happy? Or do you want to be healthy? Or do you want to put time into relationships? Or do you want to put time into work? Like, what are the top, and if you can put them in order, the top, or even 5 is probably better. What are the top 5 things that are the most important things to you? What's the word I'm looking for? Like, values, maybe? Yeah. Like, what are your values? Are the things that are on the top 5 things that you're prioritizing every day? Or are they not? And that's a big thing. You got to really like dive into it. But like for me, it's like happiness, I think, is something that is probably number 1 for me. And I do not think that is something, I know that is not something that I was prioritizing for the last, like, my bad, I keep hitting the mic. That was not something I was prioritizing for the last like decade.
But what even is happiness? What does that even look like to you?
What does it look like to you?
It's different for everybody,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. What does that look like for you?
I'm figuring it out. I'm finding out right now. I play soccer. I mean, a lot of it was realizing, bro, I feel like this year I started from, like, it was like a restart. It was like I restarted my computer on my life. The first time I did everything was overwhelming. First time I came back to Chicago, I was like scared. I was like, like I'm by myself now. I don't have this person that was my safe place. This person that was like everything to me. I don't have that anymore. And that came at a time where I was fucking broken. My friend had just been killed. Like, I was not okay. And then after that, I lost a bunch of my jobs. Like a lot of stuff happened that I'm realizing, like, what was my place in the music industry? Like, I was really not okay. And she got me through that. And then now I get out of this and she's gone. And I'm like, everything's scary. Everything's like for the first time again. And that shit was challenging. But through that, figuring out what I can find outside of music that makes me happy was like a big goal of mine. I started playing softball once, twice a week. That was cool. Started doing that. My sister had a baby this year. Started hanging out with my nephew and shit. I never held a baby before. Now I'll be holding babies every day and shit. I got this baby. I walk in the room. I go, baby. I go, oh, baby. You know what I'm saying? I live with my sister in New Jersey now. I haven't spent time with my sister in 15 years. I moved to Chicago. I'm from New Jersey. I moved to Chicago in 2008. I lived in Chicago till 2020, and I moved to LA. So I haven't like been around family in 15 years. Like, I've seen my sister a couple times a year, but it wasn't like, I live with my sister now. She got a baby. That's crazy. Like, I play softball and shit. I read books. I work out every day. I take fish oil. You know what I'm saying? I take all these vitamins that are important to me that I think make me feel good. You know what I'm saying? I do all these things that are going to make happiness more likely and easier for me, I think. Because happiness is something that I think the human mind secretly doesn't want. It's like we want to focus on the fucking hard shit. We want to be sad. You know what I'm saying? Or our mind we don't want to be sad, but like our mind kind of does though. Especially like an OCD mind. Like my shit is like, I spiral. Like if some sad thought comes into my head, my therapist has been making me think about what it feels like in my body. I can feel heat in my face. And then I sink and I get stuck in this thought. And it spirals into like more of that thought and shit. Like I'm a real sad boy, dude.
It's tough out here.
And that is something that like is one of many things. I was talking about OCD, neurodivergence and shit. Like a lot of that shit was exacerbated for me when I was going through a lot of these things. And that is one of many things that I deal with that is easier when I'm focusing on happiness. It's easier for me when I'm working on myself, when I'm trying to purposefully put time into choosing myself and choosing my health and choosing my just anything that makes me happy. And that's not all. I don't even want to say that's not always easy. That is almost always hard. That shit is not like, that shit's a fucking challenge, dude.
You don't feel like it acts up a little bit more when you are actually happy and you're like, because obviously with OCD, right, there are these intrusive thoughts and it's kind of like you're paranoid that shit's gonna go away if you don't do this certain thing this certain amount of times this way. And I speak from experience, so I'm not trying to like.
OCD is it's different for a lot of different people. My OCD presents in, you see OCD shows and shit where they gotta turn the light off 3 times or whatever. Mine doesn't really present like that. Mine is like mostly in my head, and it's like things that only really affect me. And it's like ways I step on things, ways I chew. Like it very much affects me. And it's very hard to be present in conversations. It's very hard to be a person that comes off as someone who gives a fuck to other people, because I'm so stuck on the ways that things are happening in my head that I have trouble being present a lot of the time. And I do think that focusing on happiness and doing all these things makes me clearer. It makes me able to listen more. It makes me able to not have such a stack of thoughts in my head. Like, I get stuck on like ways people say things or ways I read. It's like, bro, it's like a lot. Being inside my head is, I don't know what it's like to be inside anyone else's head. So I guess not, but you know what I'm saying? But being inside my head is overwhelming. And I think doing these things, fish oil, like working out every day is huge. That's like probably the biggest one. Doing that every day is fucking huge. Eating right, like taking all these vitamins every day, creatine, protein, eating enough protein and shit, like eating fiber so you don't get hemorrhoids, you know what I'm saying? That's important too. Doing all these things, dude, focusing on, you know what I'm saying, playing softball, doing shit with my family, doing shit with my friends, just like not always forcing myself to have to work all the time is I feel clearer, dude. I feel so much clearer right now than I have in like a decade. And it's weird, that's time, it's back to time, dude. It's weird to look back on that and be like, damn, that was 10 years. Imagine you're 35, you look back and you're like what happened?
I look at me at fucking 21, bro. I look at when I started this shit and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like,
that was 4 years ago.
Yeah. It'll be 5. It's just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So how has your relationship with grief changed now? Now that you're in a different place?
I think that I don't know what life is like to not be grieving something. And I think maybe I've worked through some of the shit with my friends dying now over this past 6 months. But now I'm grieving my girlfriend. That's not even who she is anymore. I have trouble not calling her that because that's who she still is in my head to me, you know what I'm saying? But she's not. She's been gone for 7 months, you know what I'm saying? Or 8 months, or however long it's been. Like I'm grieving this person that I spent years of my life with, you know what I'm saying? So I think my relationship with grief has like changed a little, but it's also something that I don't know how to live my life without it. It's kind of like an OCD thing. Like, I don't think I've ever, as an adult, like not been focused on something negative that is happening to me. And I wonder what that would be like. And I want to I want my relationship with grief to change a little because I think about time. Like, I don't want to spend this time think about these things. I don't want to spend this time like focused on such negative shit. And I think the more I focus on happiness and the more I focus on figuring out what that is and being healthy, the less time I spend doing that. You know what I'm saying? Which is great. And maybe that's what my relationship with grief is. I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question for real.
Grief is different for everybody. And like you said, it's like, doesn't just go away. You just get farther away from it.
And that makes it easier. But that doesn't really, you didn't really do anything. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell yourself you did, but you didn't. And that's something I've been realizing. That's maybe how my relationship with grief changed this year. But then how is it changing like right now?
Which is what I think I found myself in the position. And I'm so glad at like, I don't want, I just met you, but like proud is almost a word that I would use, right? I'm proud that you were able to take that step so quickly. Because for me, after, the whole thing with, man, you mentioned how this was like your idea of what your life would look like, your idea of what happiness was going to look like. I reference this album a lot. It's called Felicilandia by this artist named Alvaro Diaz. And Felicilandia is the happiest place on earth. It's like his little mascot in the form of Disney and all that shit, right? It's Disneyland. But in the back, there's an explosion. And then his following album, Sayonara, and it's him saying bye to everything that he thought his version of happiness looked like. And for me, like, when I went through my shit, it took me like a year to finally be like, all right, shit's got to change. Like, why the fuck am I still, like, holding on to something that I'm still so hurt about?
I think that's what I would be on, like, when I was your age, probably. But I'm still kind of on it, though. So I don't really think it's been, like, more than half a year.
But you made the steps to change that, right? I didn't take any steps to change that. All I did was go out every weekend and drink with my friends.
Yeah, I think that part of it, though, is that I, like, personally, my situation was a little different, though. Because I felt like I was, like, I'm not exaggerating, dude. I was dying. Like, physically and, like, mentally. Like, I almost did not make it through this multiple times. A lot of why I started doing that in the first place, the first time, which was in maybe like May, is because I was gonna end it. So I was like, well, I think a friend of mine said something like this to me. He was like, bro, if you're gonna go like jump in front of a truck, why don't you go to the gym first and just see what happens? just see, dude. I don't know, get up. Like, I was sleeping till 11 p.m. I wasn't getting out of bed. Like, I wasn't even really sleeping. That's maybe just the difference. I was in my mid-30s. I was like in so much pain all the time. Like, I'm telling, bro, my leg went numb, tingles down my whole shit. My back hurt all the time. My hands, my wrists, my fingers hurt all the time.
Oh, man,
I couldn't breathe out my nose. My teeth were fucked up, and now I left LA, so I can't go to the dentist. Like, that's only a little bit of shit, dude. There was way more than this. I have a problem with if I eat certain. This is the fibromyalgia. I get pain down my arm. Feels like a heart attack. Like, my whole body was falling apart. So for me, it was like, I'm either going to die or I'm going to do something about this. And I might as well just try to do something about this because this is it. And after you get out of a relationship that was someone that you were with for that long and you thought it was going to be something that was like a life thing, you're always going to care about that person. At least, I don't know. I'm always going to care. I think a lot of people are different. Some people detach from shit and just move on and don't deal with it. That's not me at all. I obsess over that shit and I change everything about myself and blah, blah, blah. But it's weird I almost feel like sometimes grieving a relationship is like harder than grieving death sometimes in some ways, because it's weird to compare them. And I like don't even really want to, but I have. And I think that for me, grieving someone that's still alive is like, we could talk right now. We could talk through this. We could deal with this. Like, why aren't we? Like, why do we think these things about each other? Why don't we just talk about it? Like, why don't we just? But that's not always with the place I was at in the relationship. I could understand why she would think that she would be talking to someone who is not going to be someone who's open to listening to her and the ways that she feels as much as I should have been or I should be. And I like regret that. And I feel really bad about that because I was in a place where I just don't think I really could. But just because you get to that place now in life doesn't mean you're ever going to get a chance to do those things again. You know what I'm saying?
Man, the therapy worked.
Oh, I'm like so different, dude. And I wish I could talk to her about that. But it's also the type of thing where, and this doesn't happen for me, but people stop loving other people and shit. That didn't happen for me. I can't really relate to that. But I'm pretty sure she doesn't love me anymore. And that's probably fair. I was kind of decrepit and falling apart and gross and fucking fat. I wasn't that fat, but I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was getting a little overweight, dude. Because I couldn't walk and shit. It was like I was, whatever. I was really, I'm not trying to be a complainy person. Bro, I was really fucked up. I was not okay. And no one really knows. It's not like I'm advertising this shit. So you don't go on the internet and show people like, I'm not okay.
I wouldn't have looked at Instagram and been like, damn, Dae Dae from Pivot Gang is fucking dying.
I was fucking not okay for the last they knew, but they couldn't do anything about it. It's like I had to figure this shit out. And I tried and it was overwhelming, dude. It was a lot. And I'm not surprised that I didn't do a great job in a relationship during that time. And I wish I could make up for it, but I don't think I can.
At that point, did you even hold on to what you were doing with music, or did you feel like you also just let that go?
I stopped different period. For 2023, I didn't make beats at all. I think it was 2020. Yeah, I think it was 2023. I just stopped. I stopped showing up at places. I talked to Saba and Joe, his brother Joe. You know I run a Pivot Gang, right?
Yeah.
Joseph Chilliams.
Well,
I
yeah.
talked to Joe about it one time. I've talked to all of them about it, Fresh and Mello at different times. Like 2023 was a year where I was like, if someone doesn't seek me out, they're not gonna see me. If you don't hit me up, you don't invite me somewhere, you're not gonna see me. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of what it ended up being. Because I was just like, I need to figure this out. I moved to LA. The music business was not what I wanted it to be. I got into this place where music started to be like work, and it didn't feel like I liked it anymore. I felt like I didn't like anything. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't like a lot of shit. It was very confusing. Yeah, 2023, I stopped making music. I was like, I'm going to stop. I moved in with my girlfriend. I'm going to stop. I'm going to live with this person that I love and I care about. Bro, I lived with this person. This was also the last 6 months of last year were like, bro, every 3 weeks is like the most wild shit that had ever happened to me in my life. And then we got through the end of the year. We got in this bad fight at the end of December where I said some shit that I shouldn't have said. And then I'm trying to get us a therapist, which is something I should have done for years, and I didn't fucking do it. January 5th, the whole city lights on fire. And we had to go to Vegas. And now I'm living in Vegas with Airbnb to Airbnb fucking hemorrhaging money trying to make us survive in this other place because we can't go back to where we live. With 3 cats. I had a cat, she had 2 cats, and they can't be together because my cat's a murderer. My cat will kill her cats. My cat's fucking crazy. My cat's from the street. She's from the south side.
So how did that work?
We just had to keep them in separate rooms. It was crazy. We're in different Airbnbs. We ended up renting I had to go to my sister's baby shower, so I left, and her mom and her sister rented a place in Vegas, and we just ended up living in Vegas for a couple months. And I come back from my sister's baby shower thing, and I could just feel that shit was different. Not everything after a relationship ends can be your fault because there's 2 people that were involved. You know what I'm saying? So as much as like you said, you blame yourself. As much as we're people that blame ourselves, you gotta, another thing in therapy, I think I figured out, you gotta be able to objectively look at this and be like, all right, like what did we make mistakes on? What did she make mistakes on? You know what I'm saying? Or what did they or the partner make mistakes on? Because it's not all, you can't just blame yourself for everything. You know what I'm saying? And I think I have a tendency to do shit like that. And it's not always going to be your fault. You know what I'm saying? Everyone makes their own choices. Even if someone made you feel like something that they were doing was because of you or something.
It'd be like that, man.
At the end of the day, we make our own choices, and you might have been in a bad place. You might have been mentally detached. You might have been whatever. But you still chose to do that, and that still happened. And it's not easy to just go back and be like, let's get together again. It's like all this happened now, you know what I'm saying? All the last 6 months of last year, the beginning of this year, and she left my life like at a time where it was, of course I wasn't being a good partner during this time. This was like the worst time of my entire life. And our relationship started with my friend getting killed. So this whole thing has been a sham. No, it wasn't. We had a lot of great times, you know what I'm saying? But it was just during a time where I couldn't figure it out, dude. And the last year of my life been fucking hard.
These are the relationships that like form us, right? And they shape the way that we think and the way that we move. And just like you know, you start to change all these things and hope that sometimes you hold on, hope that you're like, damn, maybe they'll see this shit. That was me for a long time.
She not gonna see shit. She don't fuck with me anymore.
And there was a time where, you know, I was saying like sometimes we refuse to change the things about us because those are the last things that we have that person knows. So I think for me, not changing anything for a year was like, for some reason, I still wanted to hold on to that. And I look back now and I'm like, what the fuck was I doing?
That's interesting. It's like you connected the things about yourself that maybe were not the best to that relationship, so you didn't want to lose them yet or something.
But I look back on the relationship and I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? Because I remember, I was just talking about this recently. I remember there would be so many times where she'd say like, you don't do this for me. You don't do that. I shouldn't have to tell you how to act. Like, you should just know.
No, that's not fair.
Hold on. That's what I used to say. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, if you want something, like, communicate it. Like, if you communicate, then we'll be able to like fix the issue. And I started hanging out with somebody new, and this was the first time where I was like actually putting in some effort since then. And I was doing all this little shit that I just like, I'm like, oh, this is the shit she was talking about. Like shit that doesn't make sense, but you want to do it just because you like the person. And to me, like, I look back at the relationship, I'm like, I wasn't doing any of that. And I never felt the urge or need to. And I think it was because there was so much bad shit that had happened beforehand where I checked out. And I never wanted to say I checked out because, you know, guys, we don't fucking end a relationship unless like you did some like grimy ass shit. Like you will stay there and try to fix everything when in reality you should be like, nah, fuck that. Only when you care though. Because when you don't give a fuck, you're just kind of like, all right, I don't ever got to talk to you again. Cool.
I think that you just realized two things at once, kind of. Because I don't think those are the same, really, the two things you just said. Like for someone to tell you that you should just know is not really fair. For someone to tell you that they would like you to do more nice small gestures for them and you just naturally don't do them, that's fair. But like I said, the first one where someone tells you you should just know, that's not fair. That's not, that person isn't mature enough yet. And maybe you weren't either. But like for someone to tell, because I had some stuff like that happen to me too. For someone to say that you should just know, you should never just know.
I was 22 and I was like, I almost think that like I just didn't really want to be there. Like I wanted to be there, but I didn't really want to be there. Yeah. But I didn't realize that until like now. And I'm like, now looking back at it, I'm like, I was wrong in a lot of ways. I fucked up in a lot of ways, but I don't beat myself up about it no more. Not like I used to.
That's good. I'm not good at that.
You'll find the next one that breaks your heart, and then you'll be like...
I feel like people jump from relationship to relationship, and the thing that gets you over the last relationship is the next one. I don't want to do that. I want to take the time. I want to talk about all the things. I want to work through every single possible thing I could work through. I want to grow as a person, and I want to approach things head on and deal with them in therapy and physically and mentally and deal with everything myself without getting into something else and having that person's love and that person caring about me fill this hole. And now over time, now I don't care anymore because this other person cares about me now and I care about them and I love this other person. So whatever. That's not the way, dude. I'm not trying to do that anymore. And that's what we all do.
But now you're handling your grief different than you did the last time, which is a lot better, right? Because the last time you were dealing with grief, that's how you ended up. Well, not how you ended up in a relationship, but the last time you were dealing with grief is when you ended up in a new relationship that took away all those problems. And in reality, the problems were still underlying.
And I never dealt with them until like now.
In what ways do you feel like your relationship with Pivot Gang had helped you deal with the grief? Because obviously this is something that you all are going through.
I think that making it through something like that there's only like a couple people who went through the same thing that I went through. So at the end of the day, there's no matter what happens between us or anything that changes or anything that we're there for each other for, or anything that we're not there for each other for. We always went through that. We'll always have gone through that together. And no one else did. You know what I'm saying? So I think that in some ways, I remember this after Walt died. It felt like the experience like brought us together in this interesting way. Because you all experienced this thing together. After Squeak died, it kind of felt like we all broke. And I think that we all spent the last couple years, sometimes things take longer than you realize. And I think getting out of this relationship and getting to where I'm at now, like I'm realizing that it took me like 4 years to like really approach this shit. And I can't speak on them, but I feel like we all kind of had a similar thing at different times in that way where it took us a while, you know what I'm saying? Because that shit was a lot, dude. But I think it comes with a lot of like comparisons sometimes. And I remember Fresh being like, I remember talking to Fresh about this like 3-4 years ago. And I would feel bad because I'd be like, dude, your brother is like, this is your brother, dude. He's like, yeah, but he's your brother too. Like, it's okay for you to also feel bad. We don't have to compare how bad we feel. We both don't feel good. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to compare that. And that's something I found myself doing at the time. But I don't know. I think it's like what I said earlier, like the fact that we're all still doing things, anything, the fact that we're all alive, and the fact that we're all still making music. A Pivot Gang album's about to come out this year. I'm finishing it right. I mean, we're finishing it right now. I'm mixing it. So I'm on the last song right now. That's happening. That hasn't happened in 6 years. Like we had a lot happen. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not about to beat myself up about that, because it's okay that took 6 years. Because look at what the fuck happened. Not just this, a pandemic happened, like hella fucking uprisings happened. The whole world is trying to kill each other. Like, bro, the whole world is fucked up right now. This shit is fucking crazy. And on top of that, our friends died. And on top of that, you know what I'm saying? I've been sick and shit. Like, it's been a crazy 5 years, and I'm not gonna put myself in a place where I'm gonna be like feeling bad about that. Like, I feel great about the fact that we're putting shit out. I feel great about the fact that we all are alive and working still. Like, that's a huge accomplishment in itself, no matter what the fuck we're even doing. And that's, I think, maybe what I come out of that with. I don't know. Maybe that's what we did with each other. I don't know.
Shout out y'all for real. And I love how you say that, for real. You know, the fact that you're all still here and you're all still doing this.
Even that is a choice, dude. Like, I think the person I am, we talked about a lot of sad shit today. But as I move through, I think that being an OCD person, this is part of it. You get very focused on negative things, and you get really stuck in negative shit. And I think I'm trying to move towards the balance and trying to focus more on the positive and being happy and being more positive about stuff, because, like I said earlier, humans, I think, are naturally negative. Our brain naturally wants to get stuck on sad shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's like a choice to be, I feel like when you go through shit like this too, you have to choose this. It's a choice to be happy. It's a choice to try to be positive. It's a choice to try to look at the positive, because it's way easier to feel bad. It's way easier to look at the negative. And I think that's something I notice with people that I know in Pivot Gang that have gone through things like this. Like, you have to choose to be positive. You have to choose to be happy, because that's how you're going to fucking survive, dude. That's how you're going to like make it through this shit.
You about to send me to therapy, bro.
You should go to therapy, dude. I go twice a week, dude. I'm not out of this shit yet.
I'm about to go figure this shit out real quick.
You do this though. And this is like,
this is hood therapy.
Yeah, like talking to people about stuff. Like, you talked about some stuff. I talked a lot. But like, we talked about some things. Like, this is kind of therapy. Like, you're talking to people about stuff that they went through, and you're talking about shit you went through and thinking about things. And I think this is kind of that a little bit.
Close enough.
You need a professional though, because I'm a professional music producer, dude. I'm not a professional therapist.
I'm a semi-professional. I'm a hood therapist. That's what
I guess you kind of are a professional at this, actually. Because that's what therapists do. They like ask the questions. They'll be like, well, what is your relationship with grief now, though? Like, that's what you asked me. So that's fair.
So the last thing I gotta ask you, what is the significance of Pivot Gang to you? What does that mean to you?
Oh, dude, everything. Everything is Pivot Gang. I feel like any work that I do is Pivot all the time. It's not really. It's like I'm working with Kehlani, I'm doing our stuff, but it's like a mindset. It's like the way that I think the things I've learned from them, the things they've learned from me, the things we've all learned from each other, it's like you move through life with this mindset, I think.
What is that mindset?
Kind of what I just said. Like, life. Appreciating life, appreciating each other, appreciating like that the small things of us, like, we're still here, we're still doing this, you know what I'm saying? And two of the people that were doing this with us are not. And those two people, and this is part of what we've had to figure out as Pivot Gang over the years, like, those two people were a huge part of the dynamic of this group. And they're not here anymore. So then we have to figure that out. Like, I think to me, like, Pivot Gang is family, dude. These are like brother. I never had a brother. These are like my brothers in life. It's like partners in life together. They're like my life partners. Like on this path together. And they're people I can trust and above anyone else. You know what I'm saying?
Man, shout out y'all. Shout out you for real, man.
Hey, thanks, dude.
Like I said,
I'm not great with like talking because I have a lot to say. So I appreciate you letting me say some of that, but like sometimes I go on tangents and I come back and shit, but I think this is why I'm a producer and not a rapper.
man, I appreciate you, bro. You got anything you want to plug real quick?
Pivot Gang album coming out before the end of the year. Me and Mello, motherfucking Mello, we're making a project. That's coming out probably early next year. I'm gonna start dropping daedaePIVOT music, which is gonna be cool. You want some drum kits? I sell drum kits. daedaePIVOT.selfie.store. You know what I'm saying? Fuck with me.
Keep doing your thing, bro. Make sure you go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you go ahead, check out daedaePIVOT. Sad Boys for real. Peace out.
This is Sad Boy Radio.